Welcome back to the We Was WatchingPod podcast. I'm your host, Brandon.
I'm your other host, Chanel.
And we are back for episode 5 of HBO's The Penguin. This episode is called Homecoming. Before we get into this episode, we want to thank you all for listening and following us on this journey. Those of you listening to us on podcasts, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If it's 5 stars, we will read it on the show. You can also, we are streaming live right now on YouTube at youtube.com/@WeWasWatching. You can go and watch us record on YouTube. Click that notification bell and it'll let you know as soon as we're going live. And please like and subscribe to our channels there. And you can also email the show at wewasdragonspod@gmail.com. And we will read your emails on the show. And you can follow us on Twitter at We Was Watching Pod. Is that what it is?
At We Was Watching.
At We Was Watching on Twitter. We did get 2 emails. We got an email from Lori who said, I absolutely love this show. I tried to get in the industry and I could not, but I love Sofia and rooting for her. That was going to be my question on the poll this week.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you rooting for, Sofia or Oz? I also like Victor. Not sure how I feel about Oz. Great show. So yeah, I think they're doing an interesting job on who's the protagonist because none of these people are likable, but I'm interested to see who's going to be voting for who or what when it comes to this. And then, hold on, I accidentally closed the other email. We got an email from Ben who says, I'm enjoying the show. It feels like the series really came into its own. The most recent episode, Sent Anani. Yeah, the episode was excellent, which was superb. Do you agree? Yes, Chanel and I both loved that. I actually think it's a good thing that Batman doesn't appear in the Penguin. Is he even named? It allows the series to be its own thing rather than forcing it into this Batman narrative, and that it reminds me of Andor, maybe, which obviously is related to Star Wars, but very loosely connected. Yeah, I loved Andor. Andor was a political drama, which I loved. A lot of people said it was slow, which I understand for some people in the fandom, but I really enjoyed Andor, and season 2 is going to be exciting. I am also really enjoying Agatha all along. Have you been watching that? Do you like it? I would listen to your take on that, definitely. I would have loved to get Chanel to watch that, but, you know.
What do you mean? I'm caught up.
You ain't caught up. Get out of here.
I'm caught up. What are you talking about?
I talked about Agatha on another show, on the Bam Smack Pow podcast I got invited to. Yeah, I love Agatha. Chanel, are you liking Agatha?
Yeah, of course. I love it. I like that. I always love when there's just like very coincidental diversity. Like there's an Asian woman, a Black woman, an old white lady, and a queer character. I love that. I love this.
I really usually hate that, but I like it in this context because they're witches.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I always will be like, every time I would see that, I would always be like, I get what the studio's trying to do, but it just seems so odd to me because like I've never seen that in real life. Like in my entire life, like I've never seen like a group. And I worked in a club. I was a club promoter in Washington, D.C. in the biggest club on the East Coast for years when I was younger. And I never saw an Asian woman, a Black woman, a white woman, and a Latina woman just walk in the club together and just like go party. Like I've never seen that a day in my life. But when I turn on TV, you see it all the time. So I always be like, this is so stupid. Just give me 4 Black women. Or just give me 4 Asian women, or even give me 4 white women. I don't care. All that sounds more likely than one of each. Like, okay, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this, right? But in this context, they all have distinct personalities that I think bring something to the table. And so I'm really loving this show. WandaVision was my favorite Disney Plus television show, and it still is. Agatha's not as good as WandaVision, but it's really, really good, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm down to do a recap. Maybe at the end of the season. Do you know if it's 6 or 8?
It's 9 episodes.
No, I don't like that.
There's 9 episodes. The last 2 episodes
Let's just do an even number
are the same
point.
day. 8 and 9 are the same day.
Okay, cool. Makes sense.
Chanel, did we have any? I don't think we had any reviews this week.
No, but we will encourage you guys on Apple Podcasts to give us 5 stars. We currently have a 4.5. We're trying to push that up. We are never happy with our Spotify rating. Also, rate us 5 stars there. Also, so we want to monetize, and apparently, it will not let us until a certain number of hours we're listened to in a 38 period on Spotify. So, if you are at all flexible in how you listen to us, please check us out on Spotify. It's okay if not, like, if that's going to cause you not to listen because it's too much change, that's okay. But we would love to see you there. And then, as Brandon said, like, there's all these different ways to follow us. We are striving to stream on Monday evenings on YouTube, which is the youtube.com/@WeWasWatching. So anyway, there's all kind of ways to connect with us. And we have like a lot of different show recommendations, like stuff we could probably do asynchronously, like Agatha All Along or Slow Horses. But if there's other type of stuff you guys would like to see, let us know. Oh, and I keep forgetting to bring this up, but 2 things. One, thank you to Vanessa Overhog for her support. We love you and thank you for that. And then also, if anyone out there is like a audio or video editor and you're already listening to this show, please reach out to us either at the WeWasDragonsPod@gmail.com or on social media, because we're like just curious about creating clips for our podcast to kind of grow. And it would be great if somebody who already is listening could do it versus like a random person who would charge us an arm and a leg and wouldn't even enjoy the show. So reach out if you can, and let's get into this wild ride of, oh, I see the trailer.
Well,
Let's get into this wild ride here.
Before we get into Penguin, because we're actually doing good on time for once. We usually take 20 minutes of bullshit before we actually talk about the actual show, which you guys, actually we've gotten feedback that you guys don't mind, which surprises me. I mean, if it was just Chanel, I would get it, but like I really just be rambling sometimes. So I appreciate that. But Chanel, I wanted to show you this. I don't know if you saw this because this is what we're doing next. And for those of you listening, you will hear it shortly. You won't be able to hear it. For those of you watching, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But we got a trailer for Silo. So Chanel, I wanted you.
Wait.
Huh?
Yeah, turn it down just a little bit because that intro music is coming in loud. But yes, I definitely want to watch it.
So we're going to watch and comment on the trailer for season 2 of Silo, which is the next show, which we'll be doing on the We Was Watching podcast.
What's the big question? What if everything you know to be true was just one big lie?
For as long as we can remember, everyone that goes outside is killed by the dangerous toxins of an unsafe world.
This was the craziest thing about season 1, because I for sure thought it was a complete lie and bullshit the entire time. And those of you watching, you should go back and watch season 1. I'm actually going to rewatch it over the next week and get my wife to watch it because she didn't watch it the first time. And so I'm excited to revisit it, knowing what I know at the end, to see any Easter eggs that I could bring up when we're talking about season 2.
Juliet Nichols asked to go out. She was a fighter.
Warning, oxygen levels low.
But she died a hero to the silo.
She might be out there somewhere, still alive.
What the fuck was that? Did she break something?
The lies have to stop.
People are saying it's time for a rebellion.
You can't control what she means to people.
I need to know what happened here. For my friends, my family. All we're trying to do is survive.
Nothing's gonna stop me from trying.
You're frightened. I'm not afraid of the rebellion.
Look at Common getting top billing. Did you see that? Look at him.
Yeah, I forgot.
I'm
I
more
forgot light skin
afraid
Shaft.
of what she saw.
You try to open the door again, and I'm gonna kill you.
Oh! See, and this is the point where I would love to discuss this with Chanel, to my partner, but I can't discuss it with Chanel because last year Chanel had to go ahead and read what happens next.
Can't.
So I can't even talk to her.
I didn't read what happens next. I read what happened in the finale happened. I don't know what's going to happen. I know because all I know is I saw her looking as far as I could see, and I was like, "What is that in the ground?" That's what I looked up. So I can't spoil it because I don't have. I mean, the only thing I can spoil is by going backwards and saying how they ended up in the silo. That I do know.
That's the whole key of the show. I feel like that's the whole key of the entire show. I bet you we won't find that out this season.
That would be annoying because it's such a basic thing. But basically, I would say that. I don't know. I don't know if this trailer would make me want to watch it if I had never watched it. So I'll say
That's true.
you should watch the first 2 or 3 episodes of Silo. Like most shows need that first 3 episodes to set up. And if you're interested then you'll like it. Because the whole thing about the first season was just like you said, the question of do I want this or not? Like, is this something I want to watch? And so the second season is more like, okay, what the fuck is going on in the show? And we should watch it now. So that would be why I would say we should watch
I agree with
Silo.
you.
But yeah, we're excited to.
The trailer for the first season didn't excite me either. And I just watch everything on Apple TV and I turned it on. But the first episode hooked me because they do something with her. This doctor does something with her. And I said, okay, what in the world's happening here? And it kind of just hooked me in from that point on. So, but it's a great television show to me. A great television show. So I'm super excited to talk about that with Chanel next month. But yeah, I wanted to get her opinion on that. So let's get into episode 5 of The Penguin. We did it in 12 minutes. Look at that, Chanel. 12 minutes.
I don't know. I guess I'm trying to think. I guess I didn't watch that much this week because I was traveling. So I didn't have a chance to catch up on any TV. Otherwise I would have. But I will say that I saw a virtual ad for El Pingüino while I was in Colombia, and so that was fun that they are advertising for it across the world. So I saw the Spanish ad. I thought that was cute. That's all.
Oh, okay, yeah. Chanel was gallivanting across the world while I was stuck in my house. This episode picks up after Vic saved Oz, and Oz lights his Maserati on fire. He got to get rid of the evidence. And I just noticed this man got a fucking gold tooth. I did not notice this the entire time of this season.
Oh, he's fully Gotham's Jerome Rome.
He's got a whole gold tooth, man. I was tripping when I saw that. I was like, yo, he is going all out for this character. Vic asked about Sofia. Oz was like, hey man, she don't matter. Once I get these shrooms back, we done with her. Vic apologizes for wrecking the car. Oz is like, hey dog, you saved me. You came back. That's all that matters. It's the two of us to the end. We about to earn some respect. And Vic was like, yeah, let's do it. Like he had some confidence. Like he went from like meager Vic to now he's like feeling himself. He's got some confidence. And I was like, look at Vic. Look at him. It ain't gonna end well, but look at him.
Yeah. Also, like, Oz's motivation is like consistently clear here. Like he wants to be a neighborhood hero and he wants to be known for what he's done for people. So even though he lies and cheats and steals and manipulates to do it, he just wants to be like a symbol for his neighborhood. And I think that, we learn that he comes from a very similar, if not the same place as Victor, just like, years before, obviously. And then also, the reason why he had like a plum Maserati was because he wanted that symbol. So we hear about the significance. Yeah, like he's he has these gangster heroes that are the reason why he does well. the reason why he does what he does is because he didn't have many other options. But there's these heroes who, for him, it's like, I can be a gangster as long as I'm like the one that people love and appreciate. And so his plum car was like a symbol that he said, like, he calls it a chariot. And so it does make sense because he clearly does not mind standing out, because that car, like, especially in the slums and the hoods that he would be in, like, that car stands out. Like, you can't hide in a plum Maserati. So end of an era. And like somebody said in the email, I'm very glad that like Batman is nowhere near here. Like, that Batman has nothing to do with this story. This really is like, all Batman would do would piss me off right now if he popped up in this narrative. Like, he has no room here. But this is an exciting episode because last episode was like the Arkham, like, deep dive into the Hangman story, and so we got to know like more about Sofia. It's our first time being alone with her, really, like, outside the context of Oz, and getting more depth in her character. We have more sympathy for her, and so like now the story is going to be concurrent, and we'll get more updates. So like the last episode kind of like happened mostly in the past, and then this one is going to give us like what Victor and Oz have been doing. But I really do like how unpredictable. Like, I'm not sure if there is a comic book this follows, but I like that I don't know what's happening and what's going to happen. And it's giving, mafia boss, crime family stuff. And it's giving just like, people in an impoverished area trying to figure it out. And then it almost is, this is so random, but it really is reminding me a little bit of Walking Dead, because it's like, whenever you think they're about to be okay, a new villain enters the arena and you're like, where is this new nigga coming? Why are we like, you're just like, okay, here's something new that we have to think about. So anyway, I'm excited. But yeah, so we have
they're
these
not
two narratives.
they're not following any specific comic book story. They're like pulling things from different stories. So like we'll get to this a little bit later, but like Sofia's new name in the comic books, she gets that name because she marries a mobster named Rocco Gigante, and then she starts to go by Sofia Falcone Gigante. So like they're taking little things and making it different. Like I said last week, Isabella was a Maroni in the comic book. She wasn't a Maroni in the show. She was a Gigante. Like, they're just changing things and moving things around, but it doesn't much matter. They're telling the story that they want to tell. And so
yeah, and I think it ultimately makes sense too, right? Like, there's this idea of like getting Carmine out the way, and then we find out later, like, oh, Carmine was actually a monster, and we're glad he's gone. So then, like, we actually have less concern when his whole bloodline's wiped out, because we're like, all right, well, bad guy anyway, like, on top of being a mobster, okay. And then, like you said, the Gigante is coming up, but in a way that makes sense for her character to be like that attached to it. And then it also gives, by her not marrying a Gigante, it gives Dr. Rush this weird ass Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, we'll get
role.
to that.
And yeah, and so like it all kind of I like how they're telling the story, but they're keeping some elements. I'm sure if you're like a diehard, you've read every edition, you're not happy with that, but
no, I don't think anybody's upset about it. I doubt anybody, because it's not like this big thing that she married Rocco Gigante. Like, that didn't. It's just how she got her new name. But also in the comic book, she was big. So like her having the last name Gigante mattered because she was like jacked in the comic books.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So Vic, some dudes came to pick him up. Oz was like, "Hey dog, I always paid y'all good, right? I always had y'all back." It was like, "Yeah." It was like, "Listen, I got this new drug, and the Maroni's got it, but we finna get that shit back because they got a weak spot." And he was like, "What's that, boss?" And he pulls out TikTok, and I was just like, "Oz is not on fucking TikTok. This man is not on TikTok."
It's definitely on TikTok. And then it's also so funny because that must have been paid sponsorship, because all jokes aside, I'm really overthinking it here, but if you're posting about getting a tattoo, you're not doing it on TikTok. You're doing it on your stories. The TikTok, like on your Instagram stories.
Here we go.
The TikTok is for afterwards when you want to talk about what the experience was like and you took video the whole time. So like if he was doing it live, it would be on his stories. But obviously TikTok.
I thought the TikTok was him saying the Falcone's about to take over this shit. We coming for you. Not the tattoo part.
No, I think the TikTok was just him to geolocate where he's at right now. Like he's telling on himself, he's being sloppy by saying, I'm getting my tattoo. He's doing this big ass like back bird tattoo where it's like it's gonna take him 12 hours. So like we know
Yeah.
exactly where this man's gonna be. And he's gonna be at a like lower state of awareness because like I don't care what anybody says, having that needle in your skin will like trigger your fight or flight. So like they're like, okay, this is the perfect time. He's gonna be a sitting duck. So his dumbass is basically broadcasting like, hey guys, I'll be in this one particular place for the next 12 hours.
So then they show up at the tattoo shop, and I rewound this like 3 times because they kind of showed a penguin in the background, but like with like a blurred out and having Maroni's son in the foreground, but he's in headphones, so you kind of can't hear anything.
Mhm.
They're like doing it from his perspective, but you can kind of see penguins shooting people while waddling, and it's so funny because he's just like blowing people's head off while waddling into the fucking tattoo shop. And then some blood splatters on Maroni Jr.'s face. That's when he wakes up. He tries to run. Vic catches his ass. And Penguin comes in. He's like, you don't know who you messing with. You mess with the wrong family, buddy. And Penguin was like, yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm counting on that. And so that's when we cut to Blackgate. And Oz shows Sal, Maroni, and Nadia a picture of their son. And Nadia's like, we got a code, bro. Like, when I was a kid, we fought with these. We didn't take people's kids. And Penguin was like, you stole my shit. The fuck you mean?
He said, I don't give a fuck about none of that. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I'm here because he's also realizing that he doesn't have the gun power or the people or the cachet to play by those regular rules. So I do think that it is dangerous to go into a place of like, his whole thing is he's trying to protect his mom and he's willing to kidnap somebody's kid. But I think Oz is a challenging figure because you understand why he's doing what he's doing, but you know if it was to be done to him, you'd be very upset. So it's like I don't know who it's hard to root for him, but then you do kind of feel like he's the underdog, so it almost justifies some of the stuff that he does. And actually, okay, you know how we said that we got into this and we didn't do any bullshit in the beginning? I actually have some bullshit to bring up now.
In the middle of the show?
So I did watch a movie on the plane called The Bike Riders. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's like Austin Butler and Tom Hardy, and they tell the story of this biker gang and how it started. And it literally in Chicago, go Bears. I'm trying to get my accent down. But anyway, it tells this story about this biker gang that started in Chicago. And like it started as just some old guys needing an outlet and like building their own motorcycles. And it grew, especially after the war when men came back with like PTSD and drug issues and addiction. And it turned into like a violent biker gang. And spoiler alert, there's this young guy who tries to join and they don't let him because they're like, we don't want a 22-year-old kid. Because he's just like a hood, like a thug like in the neighborhood, and they're like, that's not what we're doing. So then he goes to Milwaukee, makes his own chapter, and then comes back and challenges the guy. And so I'm bringing that up because like they had these rules and these ethics that they went by in terms of like how things happen in the gang. Like, you know, there, if you get challenged, you do it. Somebody would come up to him and say, I want to challenge you for leadership. He would say knives or fists. And the first guy who said, okay, fists, like I don't want to kill you. And then this kid goes knives. So basically it's like one of us will die. And there's this whole dramatic like part at the end where he kind of knows he might die, but he doesn't tell his wife. So he just says, okay, goodbye. I'll go to the store on the way home. And like the old guys drive out to where they're going to have their knife fight to see like who runs the vandals at the end. And this young motherfucking kid pulls out a gun and shoots him in the head. So it was not knives or fists. It was like him changing the entire rules of engagement and just saying, I'm going to kill you. And there has to be some trust inherent or else everything falls apart. And then like the history of it all this is all based on a true story. So the history of it all is that now all of a sudden the biker gang got into drugs and sex trafficking and all these other things. When before that, it was just like kind of like a social club for older men. And so it reminds me of like once all you need is one person come and fuck up the ethics and like of the how everything's operating for it to now be like a no holds barred game where like nobody can be trusted and alliances fall apart and way more dangerous for everyone involved. So I think it's interesting because Oz really is fucking up the the dynamics here, but because we see the story from his point of view, it seems like it would make sense for what he's doing. So that's my long-winded way of saying that he's doing a lot right now.
Thank you for bringing it back to the Penguin.
I always do.
Do you?
I did. I just did just now.
Well, yeah, you did. Nadia starts speaking in Punjabi to Sal, saying the Penguin can't be trusted. Sal was like,
he goes, stop all that. Okay. Like, he's so irritated because that is crazy to be in the middle of like a violent like exchange and we're negotiating and you start speaking another language. I'm automatically like, no, English.
Yeah, you're not finna do that to me. Sal tells her we'll be ready. Oz is like, listen, let's do this intimately. I'll show up with the boy. Nadia shows up. Sal's like, dog, my wife not showing up there by herself. You on drugs. He was like, you can have one guard because I'm a gentleman. And then Oz walks out. He goes to another guard. He says 11 o'clock, red jacket, and gives him some shit. And then as he's leaving, he sees a news story that all the Falcons are dead except Sofia. So he knows what happened at this point. Mm-hmm. So then they cut to the Falcon residence.
And that does, by the way, that changes the whole calculus because he's trying to take down the Maronis while avoiding the Falcons. And now he realizes, like, oh shit, I really just have one person to like, because he didn't know for sure. But he didn't know Sofia was still alive. So it's like, all right, now he knows that if Sofia is alive and all the other Falcons are dead, then he's definitely coming for his ass. Like, it just definitely lights a different kind of fire under him.
So then we cut to the Falcones. The police has cleaned up all the bodies. And then we get this interaction between the police chief and Sofia, which I thought was her origin story, her villain origin story. Well, we saw it last episode, but this was her really like making the full turn.
Welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I prefer Sofia.
Police Chief Baaabe, Gotham City Police Department.
Quick pause. Why is that how he talks?
I feel like that's probably his real voice. I think I've heard him in other shows. Okay,
sorry.
He's in a lot of stuff. I forget his name.
Yeah, I just feel like he was. I could be wrong, but I was just like, if this is a choice, it is really pissing me off. But if that's how he actually talks, I apologize. I'm not trying to be.
Yes, you are.
Ableist.
I don't know. Con O'Neill, who plays Chief Mackenzie Bach. I'm pretty sure I've seen him on a ton of stuff. Yeah, I've seen him on a lot of stuff. He was on what have you probably seen? Well, you watch more stuff than me, but he was in the Batman movie.
He does have
Chernobyl.
A rich, smoky, husky voice. He was in the Batman. Oh, that is how he talks. Okay,
yeah, that's how he talks.
Con, my bad. Thank you so much for your service. I apologize.
Mm-hmm. We know. See, I keep trying to tell y'all listeners how Chanel gets down. I'm the woke one on the podcast, just so y'all know. I'm the woke one.
Yeah. You said you remained in the greenhouse all night.
Gia and I, yes. There was an argument between my Uncle Luca and my cousin Johnny. Carla asked me to take Gia outside. Keep her away from it.
What was the argument about?
I only heard bits and pieces. Something about Luca's wife, Tina.
See? She got that shit from Penguin to frame Vidi, and now she's using it to her advantage.
I mean, she's smart. She's putting all the pieces of the puzzle together.
There were rumors about an affair, but it wasn't a good situation for a young girl to be in.
Johnny Vidi's not among the dead. Any idea where we might find him?
I'm sorry, no. He must have left last night. I didn't come back inside until this morning. And that's when I saw the bodies. Excuse me.
Awfully suspicious, don't you think? Prominent crime family in Gotham wiped out by a gas leak.
Is that a question you'd like me to answer? Tell me. Is it common for the chief of police to respond to house calls? We are quite a ways from the city. I hope you didn't come to my home to throw my family's death in my face.
It's a new era in Gotham, Miss Falcone. The mayor-elect's got a mandate to put an end to the scum of the city.
So you're here to see it for yourself? And I suppose you and your boys are gonna go for beers later? To celebrate? Maybe swap photos of my dead relatives? Or are you gonna sell those to the Gazette to make up for all the lost kickbacks?
We're doing our due diligence. If you hear from Johnny Viti, give us a call. Sorry for your loss.
The Gotham PD is so corrupt. And this is always so funny to me because for 40 years of television, at least going back to the 70s, you didn't see it too much before the 70s. A little bit, but not really. But at least from the 70s on, 95% of portrayal of police on television is that they're corrupt, that they're angry, that they're like overbearing, that they do save people from time to time, but like they are highly abusive of power, right? Which is a fairly accurate statement in real life. A lot of police do shady things. They're corrupt. They abuse their power. They be racist, and they save people from time to time. That is how the police act in real life. But people watch this stuff on TV and consume it for like 40 years, and then just pretend like, well, that's not how it is in real life, which has always been one of the funniest things in the world to me. But out of all the portrayals of police in media, the Gotham City police have been corrupt since like the 30s, like since the 1930s. Like they've just been terrible in every possible way. It's like Commissioner Gordon's like a good person, and then everyone else is trash. It's so great how it's so funny how that is. But
yeah, I think it's interesting because even like the idea of police saving, like it's such a police are such an interesting entity because we really treat them like they're like robots that are people saving machines, and they're truly reactionary more than anything else. So I do think that Gotham, while they do, like you said, like they portray them like they're an entity of villains themselves. I think what I find really interesting about this too is that she has the wherewithal to like basically be like, oh, to the chief of police, like you're full of shit, while she knows she just murdered all these people. Like she's
yes,
definitely going toe to toe to him, like as if she does not know she definitely just did this shit.
she talks about, oh, you're not getting your kickbacks from my daddy no more. And I'm like, dog, yeah, that's because, well, you didn't kill your daddy. He died in Batman, but that's because you killed the rest of your family. That's
Basically.
why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Love that for her. And then also, sorry, my other favorite thing is her being like, all right, I guess I'm done talking to you, and just walking away. And it's like, he's still questioning. Like, I'm not all about like, oh, obey the police's commands, but she definitely goes, all right, yeah, I guess they're dead. All right, bye. Like, and just walks off. And he's like, what? I still have questions.
She was so offended. He asked her the question about like, it seems like it's a coincidence. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not here to defend the police, but I feel like if I show up to a house of a mob family and there's like everyone is dead except one person, I feel like they should be able to ask that question.
Yeah. And you happen to be outside during the gas, like with the only child, like yeah, exactly. It's like even Cricket Police asks good questions every once in a while.
So then Sofia goes to the crypt, and that's where we see Johnny Viti, and she's got him ball and gagged, like it's about to be some.
Yeah, so I didn't know, because remember at the end of the episode, last time she was like, "Oh, we need to talk," and I didn't know if like she was gonna use him to work with her or like whatever. But once she's talking to the commissioner, I'm like, or to chief, I'm thinking, okay, she's setting him up as responsible for this murder. Like that would make sense that she would kind of like set him up as the scapegoat, because even though she survived, he's the only one who's like not there. So I thought that was smart, but I also thought that maybe she told him like, oh, go on the run or like run away. But no, like you said, she has him chained up in a Brooklyn basement. It's wild.
By the way, I mean, this has nothing to do with it, but it kind of reminded me because I said ball and gagged. I promise you this is not a perverted book. I promise you what I'm about to say to you, Snow. So I promise you. So I got sent this comic book to read because apparently it's really good, and it was really good. And the first page, when you open the comic book, it's a white dude with like a grocery smock, like he worked at a grocery store, like a smock on, and he's hiding behind the door, like opening the door, and his eyes are bulging. And it says, "My name is Bryce Hunter, and I've never gotten a blowjob." That's the first line, right? And then it says, "But the bishop at my church has, from my wife." Those are the first 3 lines of the book.
Wait, what's it called?
It's called The Missionary. It's like a horror, like it's not a horror, but like like supernatural book. And it's really good. But I opened the book.
Crazy. At least throw some of the suspicion off by giving both of them, going down on both of them, right?
These are the first 4 panels. These are the first 4 words of the book. From my wife. And then it says, "She always says she found the idea to be disgusting and sinful. I was laid off from my job as a grocery store manager just now. I wanted to get advice on how to break it to my wife, Princess. She takes things kind of hard." And he walks in on his wife doing that to his bishop at his church. That's the first page of this book that someone told me to read. Did not tell me that was going to happen. So I know that was an aside, but I just had to tell somebody because it was the wildest thing I'd seen.
You're not going to bring this back to the Penguin? Interesting.
No, I'm not like you. No, I did.
Oh, wow.
He had ball and gag. He was ball and gag. I said that.
Gag. It's bound and gagged.
Oh, is it bound? No, he had the thing in his mouth.
Yeah, but that's not, I don't think it's called ball and gag. Ball. Because the gag is the gag. The gag is the thing in the mouth, right? Oh, bound. Yeah. You are right, because he's tied. Yeah, he's bound. He's bound and gagged. The type of gag is a ball gag. Fun fact about me, I worked during the pandemic at an adult toy store.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
It was so corporate. Like they made you dress up. It was like supposed to be like all classy and stuff. And so it was very like, yeah, like it was like you would talk about the features of the product and like sales, whatever. But anyway, it was like an interesting thing because
now when you get out of grad school, you can go work for Candy.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think her business. I think her business is like an MLM model, honestly, where it's like you sign up to sell products.
So she's doing a Ponzi scheme.
I mean something like
that. Don't surprise me.
No, I mean I don't think you can get into a lot of industries that quickly without doing a whole like, hey, somebody else makes it, I'll put my name on it thing. Yeah. And then I think she just has like I think she uses affiliate marketing. That's what I should say instead of MLM. So anyway, it is hard to sell toys because like there really is a monopoly in that market. But if anyone wants to, in code words, ask for ideas or thoughts about products, I'm always available. Just don't get us demonetized. But I can always recommend something for you. So back to the bound ball gag.
Well, we're not monetized yet, so we can't get demonetized. Once we get monetized, don't demonetize us.
Oh, okay, well then we have time. So yeah, just ask. But also, I don't want to be put onto, like I used to know somebody who did a job at YouTube where she watched videos that were getting deleted from the site. And she said that like they had to have therapists on site because you would see crazy stuff. I don't want to get put into that queue of hey guys, this content's been flagged as inappropriate. Can you screen it?
I think we're fine. I watched T.S. Madison on YouTube, her show. And they talk about way more They talk about way more vulgar things than we talk about.
I'm about to say, what? Like, what? Why would they get flagged? Okay, got you.
No, I'm talking about what she talk about.
Right, yeah, exactly. No, people do have sex shows on YouTube. Yep.
So then, so she's like, listen, dog, I know my daddy kept a stash of money, untraceable money. Tell me where that stash at. And Johnny's like, I'm not finna tell you that.
You think she's on the run. Like at that point, I didn't know what she was going to do. But yeah, Johnny's like, what am I, an asshole? You're going to think I'm going to give you the money? You're going to keep me alive?
Yeah, you're going to kill me as soon as I tell you that. So why would I do that? So then they cut to Eve's crib. That's Oz's girl. And Eve and Oz are arguing. And she tells Oz, you've been doing too much, bro. Like, you got the boy here at my crib. Sophia seen my face. You lied on me. Like, what?
Yep.
Like, you over
And
your head.
he did, like, actively used her as an alibi. So it's like
Mhm.
now she's inextricably involved in all of this, and she's always been worried, like, bro, don't bring this shit to my doorstep. And he literally has the whole, like, the boys are HQ is in her damn living room.
And I was just like, look, this is all my plan, baby. We finna be sitting on top of the world in a few weeks. Like, we gonna be living large. You're gonna be eating
And she
cherries and
goes,
strawberries.
do you even believe the shit you're saying? Like, you must believe your own bullshit, because he doesn't admit anything's wrong, and that would also freak me out, because I'd be like, bruh, we're in trouble. I'm not saying you're not gonna get your way out of it, but like, stop talking to me like it's all good. He's like, oh, look at it on the flip side. On the flip side is like, now we have all the freedom to take over the city. It's like, yeah, because everyone's dead. That's not necessarily like all of rainbows and silver lining.
And Oz was like, listen, just relax. He goes in there and he talks to all the people in there. He starts rallying the troops. It's like, look, you ain't even like Uncle Luca. And Milos, he used to wear, what did he say? He used to wear lifts in his shoes. And we all knew it. I was like, that's so funny. And they all laughing. He's like, all right, let's go do this, guys. Let's go. Let's go win on 3.
Where are we going? Yeah, that he does say win on 3 for sure.
And so he tells Vic, and Vic's ready to go. And Vic's all riled up. And Vic's like, I'm ready to go bust somebody's ass. And I was just like, nah, I need you to go take care of my mama. He's like, dog, I'm ready to fight with them. He's like, look, I don't trust none of these other people. I'm only good with my mama. And so I need you to take care of my mama so nothing go down. So you go take care of my mama. And I was like, this is a big job for Vic. He putting you in charge of his mama. Penguin clearly cares about his mama to an extent. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, but it's clearly like he's right though, because he's like, bro, taking care of my mom can be the most boring job until it's not, and then I really need you to have your shit together.
Yes. And so then we cut to Sofia, and she's laying there smoking a cigarette on her back, just teasing Johnny.
Johnny, how you feeling? And he's shivering. She's covered him in ice bucket water in a damp downstairs basement of a mausoleum. That man is in a mausoleum amongst dead, like shivering. And she's like, so you're either going to catch your cold and have pneumonia, or you're going to do what I say.
Johnny started talking to her mama, talking about her mama, saying Isabella was going to leave Carmine. You know, she had the bags packed and everything. If you think about it and remember, she asked me for help. Like, I had a car ready and everything, but I let her down. And I feel guilty about it because I'm the one that introduced her to Carmine. And she was done with her. You know, she tried to leave earlier, but she came back because y'all fucking kids.
That was crazy. I mean, so I forgot how he was connected. So he was her mother's cousin. So that's why he always felt like a peripheral part of the family, or like he cared less about everything else, because like his only blood was Sofia and Alfredo and Isabella. And so that part was fair. The second part though was like making, like, what he did say, you know, I have no reason to lie, and he's right. Like, he has no reason to lie at this point. He's telling you something like, what does bringing up your mom do to help him? I thought he was clearly telling the truth, and then it makes sense because, like, why do abusers, like, one of the reasons why they harm is because somebody's actually leaving. But I just didn't understand why he wanted to make it about the kids. Like, that to me seemed like a very risky choice to make at the end. Like, this woman
I know why.
kill you right now.
Because it sells him telling the truth. If you were just trying to bullshit me, you would never say anything like that. So the fact that you say that makes it sound more true, which I actually do believe he was telling the truth about everything that he said. But
it's just not nice to say. Like, what does, like, damn, she the one who had the kids. What, you act like the kids were like, mommy, stay abused. So I don't know. It was a lot. He definitely was doing his part. Oh shit. Okay. This reminds me of another movie I saw. So last night I watched Woman of the Hour with my family when I was home. Have you seen it? It's a Netflix thing with Anna Kendrick. She, I think, directed it and starred in it. She was one of the main characters in it. It's it's based in a real story about this serial killer who was on the dating game. Have you heard this story?
No.
There was this 14 again, spoiler. There was this 14-year-old he had taken out into the like Mesa, like the desert to kill, and he had strangled her and thought that she was dead, and then she woke up, like she regained consciousness and she was all tied up and he was crying like a little bitch. So he had basically, this is probably like the 50th woman he had killed, but he was like crying to like it out of pity for himself. And so she wakes up and she immediately goes, hey, can you do me a favor and not tell anyone about this? I'm so embarrassed. Like things got so crazy last night. Like, let's go home. And so she basically was like, it's all good. We're good, babe. Like, let's just go home. Let's chill. And so she put his guard down. And that was like that's how she survived. And that's how he got caught, because
Oh wow.
she literally went immediately into like, I have a captor. What is the thing that would make them believe that they don't need to kill me? And she really sold it, because like there was a moment when somebody crossed their path and she could have yelled out and she didn't. And so as soon as he like let his guard down enough to go to the bathroom, she took off running. And so yeah, she definitely did the damn thing. But that reminds me here of like, I don't want to know what I would have. I don't want to ever have to put this into practice, but it's like those instincts of like, what can I say to prolong or get the person who's going to harm me to think? And that's, I think, what Johnny Vitti is doing in this moment.
So he says, Sophia's like, if you loved her so much, why you keep working for him? He was his
You're
one.
literally underboss for years. Like you work
Yeah.
with the man who killed your cousin, that you don't have to be. But I mean, honestly, why do any of them work for them? Like at some point you have ambition that you're going to be a boss one day, or you're going to be made, you're going to have all this money or respect. But then the truth is you realize you work with killers and you're a killer. So it's like there is no retirement plan for that outside of like witness protection, literally.
So Johnny says, listen, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have respect, if you don't have people, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing with it. You need me to get the family together, basically. So then they show up at Oz's mom's house, is Vic, and her crib is a mess. Left the stove on, TV loud as shit. She in the bedroom and she's going through it. She thinks that Vic is one of Oz's brothers.
One of the sons, yeah.
And Vic explains to her who he is, and then she just snaps out of it. Her whole voice changes and everything. Like the acting was fantastic here. And she calls him Noise boy, Noise. What are you here for, Noise boy? He tells her Oz is making moves on the Maroni. She's like, no, you mean the Falcons. And he's like, no, dog, the Falcons dead. And she's like, did Oz do it? And Vic was like, yeah, he did it. He's moving on up.
To me. You're a bad liar. And he goes, no, I promise. She goes, oh, let's do it. Let's go. Oh,
she was so happy.
I was like, oh, stop this old hoe from leaving the house. Because she seemed like she was like, let's get in the car and go down to Gotham and help this man out. I'm like, sit your ass down. That's how you will help him, by sitting in one place and taking your medicine.
She was ready to get she lit up like a Christmas tree when he said that.
She's like, oh, my son killed everybody. Oh my God, I'm so proud. Like, he's different.
So then the next morning comes and guard breaks in and stabs Maroni in the gut. Then we see Oz pull up to a warehouse.
And we're like, okay, smart. He's taking the whole family out. Got it. Like smart.
Nadia's there. They start arguing. He's like, okay, here's your son. He get him out the truck. He's dripping wet. I was like, he ain't dripping wet for no reason. He's like,
honestly, I didn't catch that until I rewound it.
He was like, I need to go check the product.
He's gagged so
he can't say that it's gas.
Yeah, he can't warn her. Yeah.
And so he goes and checks the product. It's all good. Then when he starts walking over, his people, Nadia had some people there hiding. They come out, start shooting.
This dumbass, she brought 2 extra people. You might as well bring everybody for your son. You don't think you should have the whole convoy and the SWAT team ready to go? She brings out 2 extra people. The black dude who's with Oz is like, "Oh, pew pew," and then kills everybody, right? Oz does a little move behind the back, kills all her extra people are dead. And Oz is like, "Get the fuck out of here, chick." And he takes his lighter, lights the streak of gas that the kid, whatever the kid's name is, had lit to his mom, and they both light on fire. And so he watches them with a smirk. He watches the Maroni mother and son burn to death.
Barbecue. R.I.P. Officer Rowler.
But it lights off the fire extinguisher in the warehouse, which, can you believe that place is up to code? That's kind of crazy. And so the fire extinguisher starts to extinguish the mushrooms. So he goes, "Oh fuck." So they hop in a truck, they drive through the garage gate, but when they land, he realizes like only 2 of the mushrooms that were covered, which, by the way, they knew how
2
sensitive
buckets.
those mushrooms were. Yeah, buckets. Like, they literally clearly never wanted him to have the mushrooms, because you know how sensitive they are. They should not have been in open air anyway. Like, there was no time that was going to make sense. So they should have always been. So anyway, there was like only 2 buckets worth, and he starts freaking out because he's like, "What? How the fuck am I going to build an empire off of 2 buckets of shrooms of bliss?" And so again, his motivation is pretty clear. Like, he wants to be a neighborhood hero. This is something that's important to him. He wants to be like in the front of the job market, the drug market, because again, he doesn't have a family, he doesn't have backing. So like, if he doesn't have like the best product or the best name or the best guys, like, he's not going to be a factor in the new Gotham.
And Bliss seems a lot better than Drops. I feel like Drops are like heroin and Bliss is like ecstasy.
I agree, but like, the problem is he has no real idea about the supplier.
No, Bloom.
So that's
the comic books. The dude that was managing the mushrooms for Sofia the first time we saw him, he was a villain named Bloom. I don't know if they're going to actually do anything with him, but I feel like Oz need to go talk to somebody about like how he gonna get some more shrooms and keep him going.
Yeah, he definitely needs a plan, because even that that truck full wouldn't have been enough.
So then he peels out with the truck, and that's when he checks the shrooms, like Chanel said, and they're all fucked up. And then he gets a call from Mikey, who's the security guard who he paid to take out Maroni. But plot twist, it's Salvatore. He somehow whipped that dude's ass, took his keys, and bust out of the fucking jail.
How the fuck? Okay, so the keys, okay, that's one thing, but getting out and finding somewhere to be is hilarious.
And he was like, "You ain't count on that. That's how I was able to bust out, huh, Oswald?" And Oz looked shook. And he was like, "You're cooked now." And then Oz was like, "That's funny you say cooked. You should call your wife and see what she tastes like right now."
I mean, truly, like, that's almost exactly what he said. He was like, "Oh, ha, that's funny." And I was like, damn, if I tell somebody they're cooked and they laugh,
that's a bad
I need
thing.
to worry. I need to worry.
Then Oz calls Vic to ask how his mama's doing. Vic tells him she's good, she's sleeping. He's like, "You gotta get my mama up out of there. Things ain't go well with Salvatore. Get that go bag. Don't forget her meds and like go somewhere." And Vic's like, "Where the fuck I'm finna go?" And Oz is like, "Go somewhere nobody think to look for you." And he's like, Vic was like, "Oz, I got this." And Oz is like, "All right, then."
And I knew he obviously would go to the part of town that people expect to be like defunct, because that's like probably the only place. The place that, like, fucking underneath the levees is the most unexpected place somebody would have gone to in, New Orleans.
And back at the Falcone residence, one of the grounds comes in, let's rush in. And this nigga is in love. You can see it all over his face. Like, he loves this woman. And he says, "The police came to talk to me. They was asking about you. I ain't tell them nothing though, but I know you did that shit. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I know that's going to let you free. It's going to release you. It's going to get that burden off your chest that's been bothering you this whole time. And guess what? I want to be a part of it. However you need me to do, whatever you need me to do, just let me in. Anything I can do to be near you, I'm down." And Sophia was like, "Oh, all right, dude."
Crazy. Like, that man said, "Ain't no Hippocratic oath in here." All I know is I like her, I want her, and I need her. And he literally has already left his cushy old job. Well, I don't know how cushy it was, but he left his job at Arkham. I'm like, he must be independently wealthy and not have any med school loans to pay back. And then he
Harley
shows
did
up.
the same thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, but it truly is a Harley Quinn narrative of like the inmate. Well, two things: the inmate you fall in love with, and you're like, if they're crazy, ableist term. I want to be crazy too, ableist term. But
Harley
then on
broke the Joker out and then just was like with
right.
him.
But the other problem is that like the Joker was actually already came in cackling, whereas like I could understand him liking Sofia because Sofia was clearly like framed. Like he was the only one who was like, bro, she's actually like operating in a way that like.
But now she really is like terrible,
yeah.
And now he loves her
like,
even
I knew
more.
You had it in you.
Yeah.
I knew you had it in you.
And so then we get this scene. I called it the Gigante family origin.
Hey! Fight the fuck down. Lady's got something to say.
Thank you, Johnny.
Sit down.
First, I'd like to address the elephant in the room. I gassed the family. I killed them all. And I am so glad that they're dead.
Like, damn.
My family disposed of my mother like she was nothing. Then they did the same to me. And honestly, none of you are any different. None of you are made men. Except for Johnny here. The rest of you.
This whole time, by the way, Johnny is looking like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And he finna find out.
Wrong. Mm-hmm.
You're pawns. You're overlooked. Expendable. My mother was Isabella Gigante. Few spoke of her after she died because she was a force greater than the Falcons could handle. As of today, my father's legacy is dead, and we will never speak his name again. From this point on.
Okay.
Johnny's like, I know he was a murderer, and I know he killed my cousin, but I mean, this is too far. Basically, he's like, oh, what does a guy have to do to get some respect these days? As if he wasn't literally the hangman.
I think Johnny's point was, we got a lot of cachet built up in this name that you finna throw down the drain. We got a lot of power. This name is known across Gotham. It puts fear in people's hearts. Like, now you gonna build a new family from scratch? This is stupid, is what Johnny's thinking.
But at the same time, but he's kind of not being realistic, because if I found out that everybody was dead in a family dynamic, that would no longer strike fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, it was a great name until everyone was killed by this one lady. So whatever her name is the one that we should go with.
I am a Gigante, and this is a new family now.
What are you doing?
A family that will not treat you like cannon fodder in a fruitless war against the Maronis, a war which I intend to end.
All right, okay, Sofia. Let's not be rash here. All right, these gentlemen know we got a score we need to settle. Oh.
He shot her dead. He shot him dead in that room.
Didn't give a fuck. I mean, without a thought. And I mean, honestly, I get it in the sense that Johnny was not long for this world at this point. But I thought it was so interesting how she basically used up all that she could use of him. Of like, okay, like, I got his cachet, I got his backing. They see that he was with me, and then now they also see that I'm not fucking around. So smart move, all in all. Miss Gigante is so funny.
She opens up this big ass bag of cash.
This was my father's. But he made it off of your labor. You did the dirty work. And they kept it all for themselves. If you join me, you will have a new family. And I will pay you what you're worth. More money than you've ever seen before.
Mr. Gata?
Go ahead.
And they all go scrambling for the money. It was like the episode occurred where he put the $20 and everybody went after it, so that he could get out of the situation at the funeral.
The thing that was killing me was that like they didn't even care that some of it had blood on it. They were like, "Thank you."
I mean, we could wash this up, put that in the washing machine. We good to go, buddy.
Hilarious.
So that was a great scene. She is acting her ass off in this season of television. So very happy for her to get some recognition. They cut to Vic driving to the east side of Gotham. He's explaining to Oz's mom why they're over there. It's supposed to be just temporary. She is not with this. She's like, Oz told me he was moving up. Why I'm back in the slums? Like, why I'm over here? This place is complete shit, by the way. Like on the outside, it just looks like the most awful place you could be. It's called Crown Point. Oz's mom.
It's where the water took out all the neighborhoods.
Oz's mom is talking cash shit. She is such a treasure on this show. Vic looks and sees someone he knows. We find out it's Squid, the dude his daddy was talking about when we met them about not hanging around with that person. Vic explains that he runs all the drops and shits in this part of town, and he's not somebody to be trifled with.
Yeah, it's basically been abandoned, and so like the underworld of the underworld has taken over.
Then she says that sorry, I lost my notes. Oh, here we go. Vic says that he used to live over here, and when they get inside, Oz's mom was like, "This remind me of where me and Oz and his brothers grew up, and that ain't no good thing." And she said the east side is cursed. It takes everything from you. Then we see Oz at Eve's place, and he is flustered. He is going through it. And she's like, "What's wrong, baby? Like, talk to me." And Oz is like, "Listen, I know it's temporary. I got myself into some shit. Just pack your bags. We getting out of here." He's like, I'm not finna go nowhere with you. Like, what you mean? And he's like, "You about to leave me right now when I'm going through all this?" He starts throwing shit. Listen, I never want to be abusive to a woman or my wife or a partner, and I will never do that. But I do want to, like, I think I need to go to like one of those anger rooms or something like that, because I've never destroyed shit before. It looks like so much. It looks like so releasing. Fun. Just to like, he just picked up that vase. It's like, oh god, he's just so going through it. He starts almost crying in the table. Colin was acting.
He's so lucky that he didn't flip that damn glass table over, because I'm like, that's what really would set your security deposit up, is if he broke that damn Hulk smash that table. So,
but the way she was looking at him. The way she was looking at him was like, I know he's not finna do nothing to me, but he going through it right now. And then he just kind of stops. Really was
like, ugh. She was looking at him like, that's not cute. After all of this.
As bad as Penguin is, at least we know he's not a domestic abuser, physically.
Yeah, he's just exactly. He has all these other things, but he did not hit her.
He was not going to hit her, and she didn't look like she had any fear of him hitting her. And then she kind of comes over to him and is like, "Listen, Oz, you gonna be all right. You still my dude. We still gonna be together. I'm always gonna be your girl. I just don't want to come with you because I'm gonna hold you back. You're gonna be worried about me, and I need you to do what you got to do." and Oz is like listening to her, and then he starts like calming down. You know what it reminded me of? In the Avengers movies, when Black Widow would talk to the Hulk, and she starts singing that song to him, and he started calming down. That's what it was like
No,
right there.
what that reminds me of is when people on Black Twitter would be like, "I just want a man who like he want to fight, but I can calm him down." And people are like, "You want to literally date the Hulk?" Like, literally, there's this fantasy of being that girl for somebody. But yeah, that's exactly what happens. But it's so funny because she's like, she went through all this like, "Baby, you messed me up," to "Baby, why'd you do this?" to being like, "Hey, look, game is game. I'll see you when you get back," basically. And I guess what confused me about that was I understand her not wanting to leave her job and her other clients to leave with him, but she did seem concerned about her safety. So I'm like, how does it not seem safer to leave with him? Maybe like it puts more of a target on her back really with
That's
him,
true.
but I'm like,
Or she
staying
not
where you're
she
at.
not finna try to go live in Crown Point. I'll take my chances here.
Yeah, she said, "I got my little bead curtains. I'm happy."
And so then we see Maroni's hideout. Somehow Sofia finds out about this. They kill some guards. They walk in the door, and that's when we get this scene with Salvatore Maroni and Sofia Gigante.
Freedom always comes at a cost, doesn't it? Sit down, Salvatore. What a funky hideout. Big fan of wood, I see. Oh, Antonucci.
Sofia be watching Curb. She be watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. She basically asked Salvatore, does he respect wood? Proud of her.
Oh, that doesn't look like it traveled well. My father always said you were too sentimental, that it made you weak. I don't think he understood why you cared so much about your family.
That's because you felt cones eat your own.
Your family had it right, I think. 10 years ago, some measly driver spun a bullshit story about me. He betrayed me, the daughter of the Falcone Don, and he got rewarded for it. And now here we are. Both of us suffering at the hands of that same man. But you, would you have let that stand?
I would have ripped out his tongue and left him for the vultures.
That's what I thought.
Wait, hold on, because this is when I paused and I said, wait a minute. I know we're not, Oz has done a lot of shit, but I know you're not about to put the fall of the whole family on Oz because he told on you to your father, who was the fucking hangman and was always going to kill whoever got involved. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, technically it is Oz's fault. If Oz doesn't snitch on her, talking to the reporter, Carmine never sends Sofia to Arkham. Sofia never gets radicalized in Arkham, which means she never comes out hell-bent on revenge and kills her family.
No, of course you would say that. If Oz was not if
and Oz killed her brother, the only person who cared about her.
If Carmine was not a serial killer and a murderer, then Sofia going to the journalist doesn't mean anything. So like it all is still Carmine's fault. And I feel like I get it. Obviously we needed to be the Penguin's fault so that they can go after him. Like but she really could have ended it. I'm just saying, like, she could have said, he killed my brother, he killed your wife, let's get him. Like, to blame this whole thing on Oz as if, like, Oz was trusting your father, who he technically did work for, who was the villain the whole time.
That's
it's
fair.
just like,
that's fair.
That's all. Yeah.
That's true.
I'm very sorry about your wife and son, Salvatore.
Why are you here? What do you want?
I've come here to end the war between our families. I'm not gonna kill you.
Why?
Because it's what Oz wants.
Falcons and Maronis have
The
been
Falcons don't exist anymore. I am offering you an alliance. We join our families, the Maronis and the Gigantes, as a show of strength. We kill us, and then we take over the city.
Oh, snap. They teaming up. They teaming up, Chanel.
She has so much dip on her chip. I just immediately was thinking, like, how do y'all split this city up? This turns into a war no matter what. There's no way Salvatore lets you have it all or lets you have half of it. Like, I'm just like, I know she wants to get odds, but it seems like a strange bedfellow situation that I don't see working out for her because, like, yeah, she might have surpassed I got a team that rides for me of loyal men, but that doesn't mean that like the Maronis are not going to backstab her the first chance they get. Like I get it though in terms of being like, let's get the penguin, but this doesn't make sense to me.
I got a coalition of the willing, Chanel. I got 40 families ready to roll, son.
Where's that from?
You don't know where that's from. You too young. You too young.
Okay. What's it from?
It's from Chappelle's show. It's before your time. That's right. Black Bush.
That's definitely before my time. I definitely did not watch every episode live with my mom. You're right.
That's right.
I did not. I was not old enough for that. You're right. Uh-huh.
That's right. Black Bush.
Every week I get younger. Mm-hmm.
Then Oz shows up at Crown Point with his 2 buckets of shrooms. And he goes in to check on his mama. He starts laying with her.
2 buckets of shrooms sounds so sad.
And he's trying to make her feel better. And she is just completely disappointed with Oz.
She's been a big bitch. Yeah.
Because she's trying to live large, man. The only thing she wants from her son is to let her live large, man. She want to retire. She's like,
she want to live large. She is retired.
How you finna not take care of your mama? Because earlier we saw that she fell and she got like bruises and shit. And I was like, she should be up in some type of nursing. She should have some in-home care or something.
I don't think that's a money thing, though. I think that's a preference thing because old ladies are so particular. Like, once you've taken care of all these other people, the idea of you needing to be taken care of does not bode well. Like, I know older women like this in this situation who are like, all they want to do is go home. Like, my great-grandmother broke her damn spine and was just talking about going home the whole time. And we're like, girl, the reason why you broke your spine is because you won't let people help you. Like, you have to be here. And she's like, I would rather be home.
So
that's my assumption.
That's true. He's like, you brought me here, remind me what I lost. And I was just like, I lost the same thing. And she's like, get out of here.
My brother's gone too. Mm-hmm.
So he leaves. He goes in and starts looking through the box.
Pussy boy, or whatever she calls her son.
He goes and starts looking at the boxes of shit from when they was kids, and that wakes up Vic. And Vic starts apologizing and shit. Baby, please, I'm sorry. And I was just like, chill out, dog. You did good. You got my mama here.
But to be fair, the penguin did come in clicking and clacking, and he did wake up. So like he is technically slacking. Like it's okay to fall asleep, but the Ozzy came in, took a shower, baked breakfast, and he still ain't woke up. Like,
and Vic is like, Vic asks what happened to his brothers, and Oz tells him the city took him just like they took your family. He said I was too weak to stop it. He starts getting emotional. He opens up this can of coins and sees a token from a Gotham Trolleys. He's like, hey, Vic, let's go take a walk. They start walking through like this underworld. He busts through this like gate to go to this underground hideout. And let me tell you, Chanel, this is so cool to me. Ever since I was a kid, and in the Ninja Turtles movie, they had the underground, like the abandoned train that they turned into like their crib. I used to think that was so cool, and I wanted that. I was like, that is so cool. And Penguin found an old abandoned train, a trolley car, and it's nice and damp and moist and humid down there and dark, and that's finna be his hideout.
Okay, 2 things. One is I kept thinking somebody's in the dark waiting for y'all. I could not do a dark space like that. I'd be like, oh, someone's down here waiting to kill us. 1. 2 is is this in the video games?
No, his lair is always a bit more on the nose in the comics and the video games. Like the Iceberg
It's
Lounge.
on an iceberg. Oh,
The
yeah,
Iceberg
okay.
Lounge in the show, the club, that would be his lair in the comic book. He would be the Iceberg
So
Lounge.
the Gotham being flooded and all this is new territory for the story.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the one
Riddler's done some crazy stuff, but like that Riddler in that movie is a completely different portrayal of the Riddler. Like completely different.
It's a much better. It's more of a modern incel version.
Well, yeah, he's like a crazy leftist in the movie that's trying to like pay the city back for stealing money and stuff, which in like this like crazy way.
By hurting the poor people. Yeah.
And so then the generator goes out and the episode goes off, and that was episode 5. Chanel, what are you looking forward to for episode 6?
I don't know. I am. Let's see. I mean, I want Victor to survive the season. I want Oz to figure out what the fuck he's gonna do with his life. I do want him to get a moment of happiness. Like I want to know if he does get his recognition by the neighborhood, how that changes his behavior. Like if he relaxes as a result, like if anything goes different. And I want Sofia to win as well, but I think that like the Maronis are not to be trusted. Not to say that like they did anything wrong, because Oz did squelch on them. Like Oz did kill their guy, or not. Oz let their guy get captured at the hospital. Oz did not bring the guy home. Like I get that they don't trust him. But I kind of like, if I had to choose between Maroni's or the Cobbs, it would be Oz that I want to win. And if I had to choose between Maroni's or Gigantes, it's obviously Gigantes I want to win. And if it's Gigante versus Oz, I'm not sure. And also just RP Johnny Vitti. He was so spineless. We will remember you for just a little bit.
RP Johnny V. All I know is I don't need the Batman in this. But
who's calling for him? Is somebody calling for him?
No. Well, I've always believed that doing stories that don't include the person that the story is based off of is stupid. But I thought they'd done a good job with this.
Yeah, but it just doesn't feel like the story's based off of him anymore, because like, it's kind of like, I have a question though. This is actually a better question. Are there any villains that you would like to see, like just pie in the sky, not in real life, would you like to see the backstory of or more of? Because I think they give us some. Like I'm thinking about Spider-Verse villains particularly, but they give us some. But I'm wondering, like, would you watch a whole movie of the Green Goblin? Like, would you watch a whole movie?
That's what I hate. That's what I was saying. I usually hate that stuff because it's the whole purpose of it is all those characters are built off of the central character. Like that is.
I don't agree though. I feel like the central character just happens to be there in the town while this person's having their own.
But that's not the story. It's like Batman. They're doing interesting here, which I like. But like the story of Batman is that is he actually helping the city or is he hurting the city? Right? Do all these supervillains exist for Batman to stop, or do they exist because the Batman exists? Right. And in the books, they basically say that like there was regular criminals, and then this dude showed up in this cape, in this outlandish outfit, beating the hell out of people. And then it inspired people to want to challenge him and to become the Riddler and the Two-Face. And well, Two-Face became Two-Face in a different way, but you know, the Joker and all these things, the Joker exists because of Batman. Right. And so it's the same thing with most characters that like Venom, right? There's a Venom movie this week. I haven't liked any of the Venom movies. I don't think they've been that great, but also Venom to me does not work without the idea that Spider-Man exists. And they built that entire universe with like Spider-Man does not even exist in the Venom universe, right? So like that's so silly to me. In this case, Batman already exists, right? So I'm fine with that. He don't have to be in the story. I just know that he's here. And so I do need to know that at the end of this, that the Penguin is the Penguin, right? Like to me, I would be very disappointed at the end of this. It's like, oh, Oz is dead and he never got to like fight Batman. And I'm just gonna be like, that's a waste of a whole thing. If you're telling me,
so you want to see a Batman cameo at the very end, suggesting
no, I don't need Batman in the show at all.
You want a suggestion that the next time we see Oz, he is the Batman's Penguin.
Yes, he don't have to be like the comic book. I just need him to be the Penguin.
tied to him. Like he needs to
A
be a
crime
villain
lord.
of
I
the
need
Batman.
him to make it to being a crime lord. I just need him to be something of someone of note
So
of nation.
you don't need him to exist as a character outside of that. I get what you're saying. I mean,
Yeah, I don't
and I
need
think
Batman in this show at all.
and I think they're proving that you can do that without barely, like, even in the recap of the first episode, it was barely about Batman. It was about Gotham and what's happening. And I think that's why I've liked this, because it's just a show. It's just telling a story that is relatable, and that's what comic books ultimately have been and are. So yeah, so I think there's a lot for us to like get excited about with like what they're doing with this. And again, we have like Peacemaker, we have different people who are telling stories, and they're building out these worlds and giving a lot more credence to comic book characters. The last thing I would say though is that I think that Batman is interesting because Batman in so many ways is a villain to me. And um the same way that like Killmonger was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I am interested in, like, I do like that they're giving us this side of view where we're like, yeah, we are condoning murder, but like we condone murder when we let, the Avengers kill people to fight back, right? Like do you actually believe murder is bad, or do you believe that um people who murder should get murdered? You know what I mean? Like it creates a lot of morality conversations that we don't have because like the music of the show makes us feel good. So I think that's what I like, the deeper conversations that comic book stuff can bring up. So anyway, with that said, like, we talked about this episode. We obviously have a few more coming. We have Silo to look forward to. We also talked about like different movies this episode. And I'm just curious about like what people are watching. So please make sure to, if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, go back and give us a comment. Tell us what you thought about this episode. If you are streaming us on Spotify, share it with your friends. Tell your friends, hey, put it on 5% volume and play this show for me, please. I'll do you a solid. You can always become a listener and support us at $1, $5, or $10 a month. Again, shout out to Vanessa. We are really grateful for that support. And the more that you guys like, share, subscribe, all of that, the better this show does. In fact, I wanted to thank, oh, fuck, did I close this window? I had a window open just for this. Okay. I wanted to thank oh, here it is. I wanted to thank DJ Mizzou, Kira, Zinzi Lee, Janelle Rock, DM Wheeler, Tyrone, William, Nick Perez, KL, Solomon, Valerie, and Sarah. Those are like, just for whatever reason, those are the people that YouTube has told me have subscribed recently to our channel. Thank you guys so much. Subscribing matters a lot. And anything else that you want to do, like emailing us at wewasdragonspod@gmail.com, or reach out any other way, is greatly appreciated. We love you guys for interacting. Brandon, anything else before I do the jingle?
No, do your thing.
Okay, so we might be changing the timing of next week. We'll let you know. So always look out for the Twitter. So we'll tell you. But let me see you waddle waddle. Let me see you shake it, shake it. Let me see you drop it, drop it. Let me see you break